What's up, everyone? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, ES, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. And break down what's happening with the PPI report that just came out, not to mention some big earnings, which you should be watching for as time progresses for the markets. But let me just say that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, looking at the market right now, I just want to mention that we are looking more bullish. SPY is holding above its 535 resistance, which is now becoming support. And we're doing a very, very good job so far. So we are favoring upside right now after we got a very, very nice PPI report. So let's talk about the numbers first before I break down these charts. So what's happening with the numbers? I first want to just mention that PPI month over month for all items was at 0.1%, aligned with expectations. Core PPI month over month was 0% below expectations, which is really nice. Core PPI year over year was also at 2.4%. This is below expectations. And then finally, down here, right over here, we have PPI year over year. This was at 2.2% below expectations. So everything was below expectations. Not looking too bad, in my personal opinion. And the market's getting a more positive reaction to this. So this is a good sign for inflation, especially during the next report. And this does help to increase the odds, at least somewhat, of the Fed giving us a cut. Now, if anything, we just need another good CPI and the odds will continue to go up, and things are looking pretty good. Wholesale inflation measured at about 0.1% in July. That's less than expected. Now, please do not confuse this with what this really means. This does not mean that prices are dropping. You have to keep that in the back of your guys' minds. What this means is the rate at which prices are increasing is what's slowing down. So prices are going up at a slower rate. Okay. And so far, it's, prices are increasing at a slower rates than before. And that's why, once again, the market's more happy about this. Just so you guys know, we actually saw commodity prices dip a little bit over the last couple of months. When looking at copper futures, not to mention crude oil, so that's a good sign for inflation. It's also worth knowing that more people are becoming more optimistic, at least according to reports. So that is, once again, more positive. But this is just based off the reports. I'm not saying any of this is 100% accurate. I'm just talking about what the reports are suggesting. For earnings, we just had the Home Depot, by the way. They had good earnings, but their guidance was not too good. And later on, we have more retail. For the Home Depot, just real quick, they beat on EPS with $4.60. They beat on revenue with $43.18 billion. That was good earnings, but their guidance was not as good because they're telling us that, once again, their outlook for the year is a little bit weak. They're expecting some declines in sales, and they're saying that their net income will also decrease. So their guidance was not very good. That's why the share price is down despite having good earnings. Now it all comes down to this. So as far as the Fed goes, right now we'll be watching to see what kind of reaction we get from the markets and how this changes the target rate probabilities. Just know that right now the market's expecting a cut, and so far, the wholesale inflation does support that narrative that there's going to be a cut coming. So far, so good. CPI is going to be the next big catalyst, but things are still looking pretty good in my opinion. So once again, what do I see for the markets? It depends if we could sustain these levels or not. If we could hold above 535, SPY has potential to go all the way back up towards the 538, which is where we have this gap resistance. If we don't hold above 535, SPY is at risk of dipping back down towards the 532 area. Then we have 531.5 as support. If that breaks, we'll be dipping all the way down into the much lower levels. So it's very simple. Look at 535 as key support. If that fails us, we're at risk of dipping closer to the 532s. And then if we hold 535, we could continue to push all the way up to 538. So far, we are favoring upside a bit more. We're making higher highs and higher lows. But just know that resistance is still pretty tough for SPY. And we'll see how well we really hold up. If we really get above the 538s, then we could even fully gap up to 540. But watch and see those areas. I think right now the charts favor upsides. We'll see if this continues. For ES, we look more bullish, especially because when you look at our chart, we have a nice looking wedge that's been forming. It's a nice looking wedge right here. So we still favor this upside. I really like this structure that we're kind of seeing right here. So this does favor upside as well. And with the double bottom, I think that we are favoring the 5420s. If we lose support right over here around the 5360 area, there could be a dip, but so far ES is favoring the upside. SPX is no different. We're still waiting for this to give us an update, but We're going to be watching to see if we could get close to about 5,400, and then we have this gap above. We'll see if we can try to hold above that. So far, we're looking at promising. Bitcoin is kind of flat right now. It's just within a range. We have to break past 59,600 to turn back up. Otherwise, we're just kind of shuffling, so it's not really doing much. But other stocks like Nvda, we made a nice move to the upside, but now we're fighting this resistance. I said that if Nvidia is bullish, look for 113. For bearish, we would have seen a dip. We hit 113. If we break this, we're going up to 116. If we can't hold this, look for support around 110, not to mention 108. But so far, Nvidia is trying to favor upside, but we have a tough resistance at 113 to watch for. We'll see if we can break that or not. We do favor, like we want to break that, but just to be safe, watch it. Watch that 113 area as resistance. Nvidia is still doing a good job, though. That doesn't necessarily change that fact. As far as Tesla goes, we're pushing right now, but we have this 20 EMA, the green line, as our resistance. It's a very, very tough resistance. If we break 199.5 to about this 200 area, look for 202, then eventually 205. And if we end up losing support over here around this 196 area, we could be dipping. This is favoring upside so far. We have a nice accumulation structure, nice inverse head and shoulders. We got to break past 200. It's going to be a tough resistance. This 20 EMA is very tough. Tesla looks like it wants to push, but it's a tough resistance that we're going to be fighting. QQQ is looking pretty good. We got to try to hold above 454 to 455. If we hold above 454 at the very least, we could try to fill this gap up to 457, which I think we might end up doing. And if 457 breaks, we're going up to about 460. If we lose 454, look for a dip all the way down to 450. But this is still favoring upside, especially this gap fill. So we look more bullish on the QQQ. For Aapl, we look a little bit more bullish as well. We're going to be looking for this 220 area. If we lose 216, we'll be dipping back down, but this is still favoring that it wants to push towards 220. So it looks pretty good in my opinion. For Super Micro, we're favoring upside right now. I think we could be pushing all the way up towards this 580 area. We have previous support becoming resistance there. If we were to lose 545, we'll be looking for a dip, but this is favoring upside for 580. For the IWM Russell 2000, we're basically looking at 206 as a resistance. If we break this, I'll be looking for basically 208. If we reject here, we'll be looking for a dip back down towards 203, but we look more bullish in my personal opinion. For Coinbase, we're looking at 195 as resistance. If this breaks, we're going up to 202. If you reject here, we'll be dipping back down to about 188, but we still look more bullish. But watch resistance just to be safe. For Amazon, we need to hold above 167. If we hold above that, we could be filling the gap for 171. If not, if we lose 167, we could be dipping. But this is favoring that it wants to push. We got to hold support just for confirmation. Meta looks like it wants to push, but we have 520 as a tough resistance. If that breaks, we're going back up to about 527. If we can't hold above 520, look for potential rejection back down to 510. So we got to fight this 520 area and try to break it. For Microsoft, we're looking a little bit more bullish. If we break and hold above 410, our next target is 412. Our support's at 406. If we lose that, we turn back down. We're still favoring that we want to go up to 412. And then for Google, watch 166 as resistance. If we break this, there's going to be 168 coming. If we lose 164, we could dip, but this is still favoring upside a bit more. That's it for my video. So thank you all so much for listening. I'm going to be paying some close attention to Tesla. I know this 20 EMA is kind of tough. We'll see if this breaks or not. But I like the structure on it. So we'll see. And then also don't forget about SPY and the others. We look more bullish. Okay. We are favoring upside, but we got to hold key levels just for confirmation that we are truly trying to break. With that being said, it's great to see that the data looks decent. I know the data is not 100% trustworthy all the time, but this is optimistic, at least in some ways, and it does increase the odds of the Fed gaining confidence to eventually give us a cut in September. So we'll see how things continue from here. There's not a whole lot of data coming out for the rest of the day. We just have Boston giving a speech, but then this is what's going to lead up approaching CPI. So we'll just have to see how things go. Thank you all for listening. Have a great day. I'll see you guys in just a couple of hours for another update, and peace out.